I'm Randy, and I'm an alcoholic. And the reason I'm here today is because I have a disease called alcoholism. And, it's not my intention to lead this meeting every week. And I'd be more than happy if somebody feels like they want to come up and share about recovery and talk about the message of Alcoholics Anonymous and, uh, and, and carry the meeting. I'd be more than happy to sit back and listen and learn and enjoy. Uh, but we're doing it this way for right now because I'm not exactly sure why we're doing it this way. My experience was I went to AA for a while and I had worked all 12 steps and I was going to meetings to treat my alcohol and I didn't drink no matter what. And I went to a meeting every day, and at this men's meeting I went to, they would say, just don't drink today and you're a winner. And I thought I was supposed to be a winner. And I would go home every night and I would sit on my bed and I would weep because I was the world's biggest loser. I had 2.5, 3 years of sobriety, and I hated my job, and I hated the girl I was dating, and I didn't like the place I lived in, and I didn't like the job that I had, and I didn't like the amount of money they paid me, and I didn't like the amount of work they wanted me to do. And, the only thing that I was happy about was that I was living in LA, because that was my dream, to live in LA. And I was living my dream. So why did it hurt so much? So, I went to meetings and I was hoping that I would one day, after enough meetings and enough drunk logs and enough listening and enough readings and enough working with newcomers, that one day I would get this thing, that I would have a spiritual awakening as a result of going to meetings and not drinking for a long period of time. And it didn't happen for me. I got crazier. I got suicidal in AA. I knew I could never drink again. I got that I could never ever drink again. But that wasn't fixing me. Not drinking day after day wasn't fixing me. I had a lot of days piled up that I wasn't drinking, and I was still incredibly restless, irritable, and discontent. But I didn't know, and I didn't know why. And I met a man. I met a man named Ted Bratter, he passed away in 2006. And he started talking about a disease that centers in his mind. And that's what it says in the book. And I'd read it a million times. The disease centers in my mind. I just have to not drink and somehow that disease is going to go away. That's what I thought. But he said, no, you need to look at the disease and you need to see the disease and how it manifests in my day. Today, with many years of not drinking, I have to see how the disease manifests. And he said, one of the manifestations is an unsatisfied mind. He says, I have an unsatisfied mind. Maybe you do. Why don't you take a look? And so I took a look, and like I've already described to you, everything in my life was unsatisfying. And I thought it was because I was unlucky and that drinking caused my unluckiness and that I wasn't drinking, and now it was just a matter of time and my luck was going to change and I was going to pick the right girl. My picker was going to get fixed. I was going to pick a good job. I was going to pick a good boss. I was going to pick a good girlfriend. I was going to pick a right place to live. And then I was going to get along with the people because I would pick better people in my lives. And that didn't happen. It just got worse. And so I could look at my life and say, okay, yes, I am unsatisfied. What does that have to do with alcohol? Has nothing to do with alcohol, except for that alcohol, when it's taken in large amounts, creates a satisfied mind. Alcohol makes it okay. Whatever's going on in my life right now, if I have enough alcohol, it's okay for right now. I can deal with this. I'll deal with it tomorrow. Right now, I'm okay. And he also said that he had a fault-finding mind. And he said, look at your mind. Look at your mind. And I had to look at my mind. And everywhere I looked, I found fault. If you had a goatee, I didn't like it. If you wore an earring in your ear, I didn't like it. I found fault with it. If you didn't have a mustache, I didn't like it. If you did, I didn't like it. If you were walking down the street holding hands with somebody, I didn't like it. I found fault because you weren't holding my hand. You were holding someone else's hand. And everywhere I look, I find fault. So I have an unsatisfied, fault-finding, opinionated mind. And I have these opinions. I don't know where they came from, but they come in my voice. And so if I have an opinion, it's real for me. And it's so real that I'm willing to crush you in order to make you agree with my opinion. And I don't even know where I got the opinion from. I might have got it from a parent, a teacher, something I heard on the news. All of a sudden I have an opinion, and my opinion is right because I say so. And it's killing me. It's killing me. And I have this infantile ego, this little baby 3-year-old ego running around in my 54-year-old body. It's very, very disconcerting for people around me. When I kick and scream and throw a temper tantrum because the toast didn't come out the way I thought it should at a restaurant, and people look at me, they look at me like I'm crazy, but I'm right. I'm right. This toast is not right. One side is burnt and the other side is raw. Why should I eat that? I have to let you know how wrong that is. And I have to let the waitress know, and I have to let the manager know, and I have to let everybody know. We're reading about it in Tebow, right? When somebody hurts me, or I'm hurt, I am an infantile ego. I have to let everybody know about it. The whole world needs to know that my toast wasn't done right. And that causes me to have an unmanageable life. It's unmanageable. Everywhere I go, I'm in conflict with everybody and everything. It's a terrible way to live. It's a way of life where drinking is necessary. Right? Because I'm so restless, irritable, and discontent all the time. I need a drink. And a drink gives me an instant psychic change. It's instant. It's so nice. It works perfectly until I become allergic to it, and then it kills me. And then the thing that used to work so well turns on me and kills me, and I can't drink it anymore. Then I'm really screwed. Now I'm at the really screwed place. I can never drink again. And I have a mind that's so disturbed that I can't not drink. And that's the place where I think everybody gets to before they come to AA. That's where I got to. I can't drink anymore, but I can't not drink, and I'm going to die. And I asked for help. Something, could you help me? I don't know. I didn't come to AA with a God. I didn't believe in God. I wasn't brought up religious. I'd done a little meditating before AA, but it had nothing to do with God. It had to do with something. And I come in and they say, just don't drink no matter what. And I did that. I was able to do that. I don't know how. Something helped me to not drink one day at a time, but it didn't make my life better. What goes on inside me didn't get better. My outsides got a little better right away because I was able to keep my job and keep my girlfriend and not crash my car. And I knew where my stuff was when I woke up in the morning, and that got good. But my insides didn't get good. My insides were just as bad sober as they were drunk. So then he told me that I've got to go back into the steps. I said, no, I've worked the steps. I'm not doing the steps again. That's terrible. I've worked those steps. Let the new guy do the steps, and let the new guy listen to how it works, and let the new guy read how it works. That's for the new guy. Those steps are terrible. Especially for. And he said, well, you're not doing the steps. And it says in the book so many times that this is a way of life. This is not a theory. It's a way of life. It says that. I found it. I remember I was looking for it the other day. It's in the 9th step. It says AA's. Let me see. I'll find it real quick. Into action. Dang, I just had it. The spiritual life is not a theory. I have to live it. I have to live it. I don't even have a nodding acquaintance with a spiritual life, and I have no idea how to live it. I just don't. I thought I just don't drink, and then this spiritual life will happen to me somehow. But it doesn't happen like that. It's a way of life that I have to live. I have to put my will into this way of life, into this spiritual way of life. So I have to start to do something. And in step one, I have to admit complete defeat. Oh, that's terrible. That's a terrible thing to make a person do, to admit complete defeat. And I thought it meant that, I had to admit that I couldn't do anything. I can't tie my shoes. I can't walk to the mailbox. And I can't take a shower. I'm a complete defeat. And then, so that didn't make any sense to me at all because I could do those things. But I can't tie my shoes with my mind because I reach over to tie my shoes and then I see my shoes and I think, I don't like those shoes. Those shoes are old. I need new shoes. I got to get some new shoes. Well, if I'm going to get some new shoes, I'm going to need some money, and I don't have enough money. I never have enough money because my wife has new shoes. That's why I don't have new shoes. I need to get rid of that wife. And this is a train of thought. All I was doing was tying my shoe. By the time I sit back up from tying my shoe, I have to get a divorce. And the same thing happens when I step into the shower. It's just a shower, for God's sakes. I got beautiful warm water. I get to take a shower in warm water. You know how great that is? And I can stand in it as long as I want, even though we're in a drought in LA. But I get in that shower and I don't even know what I'm doing in there. I'm so caught up in my mind about what's going on at work and why they're not working right and how I got to straighten them out and why I should be the boss. And I shouldn't have a boss. And then I got to quit that job and start my own business. But the last time I did that, it didn't go so well. So by the time I get out of the shower, there's no hope and I need to commit suicide. And the same thing happens when I walk to the mailbox. If I walk to the mailbox by myself, I open the mailbox and there's a letter from the Internal Revenue Service. And I look and IRS, I'm going to prison. They found me out and I'm going to prison. And I put that letter down on my counter. And every day I walk by it, I shudder at the thought of going to prison because I don't think I'm going to do so well there. And then one day I finally get the courage to open that letter and it's a refund check. And it's been scaring the hell out of me day after day. And I just left it there and let it scare me every day. And that's the way I live with alcoholism. So I'm a complete defeat at tying my shoes. I know I am. Not because I can't tie my shoes. I can tie my shoes. I just don't have the mind. I don't have the ability to not want to kill myself by the time I'm done. I can drive my car across town. But as I'm doing it, I'm thinking murderous thoughts. So there's something wrong with me. And that's the complete defeat. It's that my insides, I can't do things to good purpose on the insides. And, it says in the big book in 60 to 63, it says, what is my basic trouble? It would be so simple if it just said alcohol. And it should say that. The book is Alcoholics Anonymous. The front page should say, what is my basic trouble? It's alcohol. But it's not alcohol. My basic trouble is that I am selfish and self-seeking, even when trying to be kind. That's my basic trouble. I am all about me. It's all about me. Everything's about me, pleasing me. I'm selfish and self-centered in the extreme. I'm driven by 100 forms of fears, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity. Oh, poor me. Nothing ever works out for me. Except for that, if I really sit down and look at my life, I have the best life I've ever had, ever. But my mind doesn't tell me that. It never tells me things are going great. It always tells me you suck. The house you live in is too small. The girl you're with is too old. The job you have is non-existent. So that's the first step. I have to walk in and see who I am. And the first step is just the beginning of seeing who I am. It's the baby step. Oh, my life is unmanageable. Yes, it's very hard for me to drive across town and be okay and not be late and be on time and get through traffic without wanting to kill somebody and get to a meeting and have a pleasant attitude and not be a complete raving maniac when I get to the meeting. Okay, I can see that. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. In step 4, we go deep. We go really deep into step 1. And I see who I really am, what drives me, what my faults are. So that in step 6, I know what I'm having, what I'm standing ready to be willing to have removed is. And so this whole thing becomes a way of life. It's a way of life, but it has to be practiced right now. When I see who I am in step 1, I walk into step 2, and it says, came to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. Well, I've had some experience now looking at my life, and I can see that I do not have a sound mind. I have an unsound mind. And I need to be restored to sanity. And so what I do to restore myself to sanity is I self-talk, right? I run everything through my mind. I debate, I argue, I fight and I debate and I argue with everything that's happening in my life. I have an argument. I have a fault-finding argumented. I have an opinion. And I'm running those all the time. And I think if I get my opinions right, then I'll be restored to sanity. Or if I can win the argument, even if it's with myself, that when I win that argument, then I'll be restored to sanity. Or if I'm debating with you about something, if I can get you to see my side, then I'll be restored to sanity. But it doesn't make me better. It makes me worse. And so I have to stop that fault-finding, selfish, self-centered mind. I've got to stop self-talking, but I can't just stop. I've got to do something else. And what it says in the second step is, if I want to be restored to sanity, I have to rightly relate myself to God right now, in this moment. This moment right here in this meeting. It says every AA meeting is an assurance that God could restore me to sanity if I rightly relate myself to him right now. I don't know why it says God in step 2, because it's not God in step 2. It's just a power greater than me. It's a power that I know nothing about, nothing. I have no understanding of God. But I start rightly relating myself. I say, God, could you help me tie my shoes? Could you just tie my shoes with me so all I have to do is tie my shoes and I don't have to change the world? Could you walk with me to the mailbox so I could just get the mail and bring it in the house and not have to go to prison and go crazy in my mind? God, could you sit with me at this stoplight? Could you help me to just stop? Because when I get to the stoplight, I start running scenarios about why I should be able to run this red light. Because I'm in a hurry and I'm a really good driver. And I start talking to cops that aren't even there yet. They haven't pulled me over, but I'm already talking to them. I'm already pleading my case, and they're giving me tickets, and I can't even believe it. I'm so mad. And then the light turns green, and I drive on. But now I'm mad because a cop gave me a ticket in my mind for a light that I didn't even run. But I'm mad, and when I get to where I'm going, they're going to know about it. That's the way I live with alcoholism. And so, power, could you help me right now, in this room, in this meeting? Could you be with me? Could you help me be the man that you want me to be? And I start to have experiences of being restored to sanity, right? I start to have experiences where it's quiet. And then in that quietness, I could go, wow, look at that. God, something did something for me, and I don't have to talk to myself anymore. And believe me, when it first happens, it's very odd. I would look around. I'd think, where is everybody? It's so quiet here. When that mind gets quiet, it's bizarre. I've never been there before. And there is here, because there is no there. This is where I've never been. I've never been right here, right now, where my body is right now. Could you help me, power? Could you be with me? Could you help me hear what's being said? Not because what's being said is good or bad, but my function right now, if I'm living in God's will for me right now. For me, it's to talk. For you, it's probably to listen. Otherwise, you'd have something else to do. But I can't listen, right? Because my mind is talking to me. I'm talking. And some of you are talking right now about what I'm talking about. You're talking to yourself about it. I know you are. And you're judging me and you're thinking, what the hell is this guy talking about? And why does he get to talk and I'm not talking? And then you just leave the room completely. Screw it. I'm going to Hawaii. I need a vacation. That's what I did. I know that in a room full of alcoholics, that's mostly what's going on, because that's what I can produce with my mind. Unless I'm asking that power to be with me. And when it gets quiet and I'm restored to sanity, I have an experience of the quiet and the sanity. And when I string some of those experiences together, because I keep coming to believe by rightly relating myself to this power, that the power does restore me to sanity, and I have those experiences, something's happening now. And I am coming to believe more. Every time I share my life with that power, I'm coming to believe more and more and more that something restores me to sanity when I rightly relate myself to it. Then, now I've had some of these experiences, I can make a decision. Step 3 is so easy. It's the easiest step of all of them. Okay, do I want myself talking crazy, fault-finding, opinionated, unsatisfied, infantile, ego-driven mind? Or do I want this quiet mind where I can just tie my shoes and it's a non-event? And I can make that decision today. So it's a no-brainer. And it's God as I understood him, because I did something in 2. I have an understanding. It's mine. You can't have mine. I wish you could. I wish I could give you years. I'd give you all my years. I wish I could. But every one of us has to come to believe on our own. And we all have to have the experience individually, together individually. You can't do this by yourself. We go together, but you've got to do the coming to believe part. I can't do it for you. No human power can relieve your alcoholism, but God could and would if he were sought. It all just comes back. It just keeps coming back. It all comes back to the same thing. And as a result of these steps, I'm going to have a spiritual awakening where the spirit in me, it's in me. It's not outside. There's no God outside to pray to in AA. We don't pray for cash and prizes. Just help me to be right here. Help me to be sane right now. And when I am sane, everything I ever wanted is attracted to me. I become attractive. And God gives me the sanity, and the sanity attracts everything that I need for my life. Companionship, money, jobs, everything comes when I'm restored to sanity. So if you want everything beyond your wildest dreams, which is what I want, all I have to do today is to connect to that power. And it gets added. And even this meeting, the fact that this meeting is happening is proof that my higher power is adding everything to my life. Now, Evan put the meeting together, not God. But he did it because there was an attraction to something. And the fact that we're all sitting here is even more proof to me that there is a power, and that power is doing for me what I cannot do for myself today. So thanks. That's enough out of me. I'm looking forward to hearing all of y'all. Did I?